Do you want to see the playthrough of Nemo's War 2nd edition? Well, you have come to the right place.
In this video, we're going to take you through a one-round playthrough, or actually a few rounds in this case, because they're relatively short rounds, to give you a flavour for how this game flows. Coming up. Hi, it's Tarrant.
And Stella from Meeple University, bringing you a variety of quality board game videos. On this channel we do a lot of overview, how to play, playthrough and flop.
So if you're new here, please consider subscribing and clicking on the bell to get notifications.
Let's get to the playthrough.
Okay, so I'm here for this solo playthrough of the solo game Nemo's War. I am playing as the anti-imperialists. I'm just entering Act 1, so we're at the start of the game. I've taken, at the cost of 3 resources, my particular upgrade, which is a double hull, which means I get an extra die roll modifier on my hull, and every so often I'll avoid damage to my hull. So that's pretty handy. Now I'm just going to show you how the game flows. This probably won't be perfect strategy, but that's okay. This is all for your education. And this is our one round playthrough, but I'll be going through several rounds. I'll go through about 15 minutes of footage, and then we'll call it at however many rounds we've played. Okay, so step 1 is to draw the event for round 1. Okay, so it is a test right away. I can either gain 2 crew or lose 1 crew, and I can risk my crews. So this is really, I can decimate my crew to start with, or gain back what I spent on the double hull. So the crew is still a +3 die roll modifier, so I'm going to risk my crew. There's no warships in my area, so I don't get a negative die roll modifier. So I'm aiming for 10 with a +3, and after knocking that away, I got 8. +3 is 11. So I have passed this test. So the test goes to my pass pile, where it will be worth 0 victory points at the end of the game, because my modifier is 0 for adventure cards. But I get the crew I risked back, and I gain 2 crews. So that's really good. I've got a lot of +3 die roll modifiers to play with now, because I've got 3 levels of crew, and because of my double hull, I've got 2 levels of hull, which are both worth +3. Okay, so now I'll go into the placement phase. Roll these 2 dice. Sorry about that. Okay, so for my placement, I have to place on oceans number 2 and 4. So 2 and 4 each get hidden ships. I get 2 action points, which is the difference between these, and they're added to the 1 I start with for the game. So I will have 3 action points for this round, and now I get into my actions. So I am quite good at sinking non-warships. I'll get +2 for every non-warship I sink, which probably means I want to do a lot of fighting early in the game, because that's when the concentration of non-warships is highest. I also get a lot of points for liberation, uprisings, but those are better later play games, because I can lose those uprising cubes when I have lull turns. So I'm going to start by fighting here in the European seas. Where's my fighting token? There it is. So I'm going to start by spending 1 action point to launch a stalk attack against this ship. So the ship is revealed, I draw it from the bag, and I've got a warship. It's actually quite a strong warship. It'll only hit me with 6, but it's got 10 defense, and I'd rather pick on some weaker non-warships to start with. So as I'm allowed to do when I do a stalk attack on a hidden ship, I can just give up that action point and leave the fight, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to spend another action point to try to stalk attack this ship. Hopefully I get someone easier. I don't. I get the exact same thing with a different name. Danish instead of French. So this is rather annoying, but I can't really waste my whole turn. So this time I'm going to attack it. Unfortunately, by putting another warship there, I've given myself a further disadvantage. But, you know, that's okay. I will go for it. So I'm going to attack this ship. I don't have armor, but there is another ship there. So I'm trying an unmodifiable test on 7. And it's 4. So I'm hit. The lowest number that I rolled is a 1. So I'm hit once. So I'll roll this die to see where they hit me. They hit me in my newly regained crew. 3 corresponds to crew. So I lose 1 crew. So that's disappointing. Now I have my attack. So I'm trying to hit it with 10. I get +1 for my stalk attack. -1 because there's another warship in the area. And I will risk some crew. So that's +3. So my net die roll modifier for this combat is +3. So I need to get 7 or higher on the dice. I get 10, so that's good. I sink the ship. I get my crew back. And this guy is sunk. Now, it's early in the game. I want to get these upgrades to make my ship better. And because it's not a non-warship, I would only get 1 victory point in the end for this ship. So it's a good one to salvage, I think. So I'm going to put it on salvage. I do get 1 notoriety because that has 1 skull and crossbones on it. And that's the end of my attack. Now, I could keep attacking. I could go chasing treasure because there's treasure in this ocean. I don't get a lot of points for treasure. I get -1 point for each treasure token that I collect. But there are some good bonuses in the treasure as well. There are some good retain items that I can use in an emergency. So I'm going to try searching. So 1 action point to search. Searching is referenced down here. So once again, I can exert a resource, and I'm going to exert some crew to get +3. I don't have the arcane library, so I don't get a bonus there. And I lose 1 for each revealed ship token in my ocean, and there's 1 of them. So I've got a die roll modifier of +2. 5. 5 + 2 is 7. So if we refer to search on 7, I do collect treasure. It's a success because it's green, so I get my crew back. Then I do collect treasure, but I get 1 notoriety for doing so. So that's a little annoying, but that's all right. So I pick my treasure, and it goes to collected treasures. And it is a retain, which is what I'm looking for. It's not a huge catastrophe avoider, but it will give me an extra action point if I spend it. So at any time, I can spend 1 victory point. This is effectively 1 victory point for me because it's worth 2, but my treasure is worth 1 less. 1 victory point for an action. That is not a bad option. Okay, so that is the end of round 1. Flip my event for round 2. I've got a keep card. When the Nautilus is in the Pacific Ocean, I can spend an action to get 2 treasures or get 2 resources back. And it's worth 4 points. So I have to go to the Pacific Ocean before I can use that. So that's the end of the event phase. Placement phase. I roll my dice, and it's another lean turn for me, unfortunately. So first I place a hidden ship in 5 and 1 in 6. And then I gain 1 action point because the difference between these dice is 1. Not very much I can do with 1 action point. So I'm actually going to pass it. I'm going to save that action point till next round, because if I end up getting a lull turn by rolling doubles, then I'll have 1 action point there to spend on one of the actions that's usually a bit more expensive. So straight into the next round, new event. It's a play card. Egri Somnia. I can lose one Nemo or one character to pass this card, or I can immediately lose one action if I have any and fail it. So let's look at how many points this is worth, because really I'm working out whether I want to put it in the pass pile and get the points, or put it in the fail pile for a lesser penalty. So it's worth 2 adventure points and 1 science point. Adventure points are no modifiers for my motive, and science points are only worth 2. So this is a 4-point card. Is it worth losing 4 points to save an action and... Sorry, to lose an action and save a character? I don't think so. I think these characters are pretty helpful. I'm going to fail this card. I lose that action I saved up, which is a little annoying. But I think it's better than losing my Nemo. So that's the event phase. So now I go into my placement phase, roll the dice. It's another weak one with only 1 action point. And I place ships in 5 and 4. Alright, I'm gonna do the same trick. I'm just gonna pass my actions for the rest of this round and draw another event. So into round 4. Okay, I've come up against a test, Captain Nemo's Thunderbolt. So I can do a test 8 and I can exert both Nemo and my hull if I want to. If I pass, I get a notoriety and a treasure. If I fail, I get 2 notoriety and lose some hull. Alright, so it's not the hardest test, it's an 8. And I can, if I want, I can exert my hull and exert my Nemo for +5 with the extra 1 on hull because of my because of this. So if I do that, the consequences for failing could be quite high, because I'll lose both those resources, but all I have to dodge is a 2 or a 3 in order to pass this. So what I'm going to do, I'll exert them both. Easy success, I get my resources back. This card is passed. I get a notoriety and a treasure. There's the treasure, 2 points reduced to 1 because of my anti-imperialism. Okay, event's done. Now I roll for placement. That's a little bit better. I'm going to get 2 action points this round. I have to place in 3 and then in 5. 5 is full, so I have to go to the next step on ship priority and place this hidden ship in one of these adjacent oceans. So I'm going to pop it down in the Indian Ocean. Now I've got 3 action points to play with. I'm going to start moving. I'm going to get out of the European seas, so because I don't like that warship being there. I want to fight things, but I don't want to be impeded by a warship. So I'll spend an action point to head into the North Atlantic. Then I'm going to spend an action point. I'm going to try to incite some unrest, some uprising in this area here, Cuba and Puerto Rico, because that's where I get most of my points. I do want to be liberating these people. So I refer to incite. I can exert a resource, and I'm going to exert my crew for +3. I can also spend a treasure token in order to improve my capability to incite. And these treasure tokens are not worth very much to me because of my anti-imperialism, so if I spend this, I can get a +2 die roll modifier at the effective cost of only 1 point. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to discard that treasure. So I've got +2 and +3. There are no existing uprising cubes and no ships in that region that are visible, so I get a +5 die roll modifier. Perform the test. 6 + 5 is 11. So successful uprising, I place an uprising cube and I get to reduce 1 notoriety. So that cube, if it stays on the board, will be worth 6 points to me. Now I'm going to attack again. So this time I'm going to try a bold attack. I want to sweep out a lot of low value, push that back, a lot of low value ships all at once. So I'm going to do a bold attack here against this hidden ship. It's going to cost me 1 action point. I will take a ship from the bag, and it is a whaling ship from France. It is not a warship, so it does not attack me, which is great. So I now have an attempt at attacking this off a strength of 8. There are no warships to weaken the effort. I can exert my crew for +3. So I need to roll a 5 on the dice in order to beat this whaling ship. I rolled a 6. Success. So I sink the ship. I get my crew back. And I can either take it as salvage or tonnage, but if I take it as salvage, I'm not allowed to bold attack anymore. And I want to do multiple ships, so I'm going to take this as tonnage. I sunk it in the North Atlantic, so I'm going to pop it on this North Atlantic box here. That's going to be worth 3 victory points to me, because it's 1 plus the 2 for my motive. And I get a treasure token because there was some treasure on this ship. So let's take this one. And it's a duplicate of this. I can discard it for an extra action at some point. I also take 1 notoriety because there's 1 on that ship. Now, in order to attack again, I have to take a notoriety to do my bold attack without more actions and pick a new target. So that's going to be this hidden ship. I've drawn another non-warship. It's a clipper, a British clipper. With a strength of 9. So we'll do the same trick. We'll exert the crew and we'll try to roll a 6 on the dice. Oh dear, snake eyes. Okay, so because I rolled snake eyes, no die roll modifiers will help this. It's a natural fail. And the consequence would be that I would gain 2 notoriety and I would lose 2 of my exerted resource. Now, I have the ability to mitigate this. I can flip the conseil in order to get a re-roll. And at this point, I just have to work out whether that is worth it to me. Because there are much worse things that can happen to me in the game that I might want to re-roll on. But to demonstrate how it works, I'm going to do it. So I'm going to flip this. I lose the 4 points that would have been on it, and I get to re-roll in an attempt to destroy this ship. 10. This time I'm successful. So that's good. I take a notoriety for destroying it. I sink it. I'm going to take it as tonnage as well. It doesn't come with any extra bonus, but I keep my crew. I can keep going. I'm going to. I'm on a roll. 1 notoriety. 1 bold attack on this hidden ship, and it is the Royal Adelaide. It's a strong freighter. It's worth decent points, but it's going to be a little tougher to kill, and it's going to be worth some notoriety, which is not entirely what I want, but that is okay. I am committed now. So got +3 die roll modifier again. Trying to roll a 7 on the dice. I got an 11, I sunk it. I take the 2 notoriety, and now I have to decide whether I want to take this, which is worth 5 victory points to me, as a salvage point, so I can start upgrading my ship, or take it as tonnage. And I'm going to take it as salvage because these upgrades are going to be well worth their while in the end. I'm out of ships to attack. I'm out of actions. So that brings us to the end of this 1 round playthrough.
And that's the playthrough of Nemo's War 2nd edition. We hope that you enjoyed the video and we hope that you enjoy playing.
If you'd like to learn the rules to the game in full, you can click on the link in the description to check out our how to play video for this game, which includes some tips and strategies from 2nd edition developer Alan Emmerich.
If you like this video, please let us know by clicking the like button, write your questions and feedback in the comment sections below. If you'd like to join our Facebook group, Meeple University Community, to share your love of board games, please check out the link in the description below.
And finally, if you'd like to be among the first notified on what's new from Meeple University, please consider subscribing to our channel. You can click on the Meeple up in the corner to do so, and do hit the bell to get those notifications.
Until next time.